55 years of age, always been a truck driver, brought up with trucks, diesel in the veins, and that was my lifelong ambition. When I was diagnosed with lymphedema, it was all new to me. I wasn't sure what had to be done. And it was a worrying time, but I was put at ease all the time by the nurses. And they explained what dressings done what, the fact that there was compression, which I'd never heard of. To me, a bandage was a crepe bandage. And when we was better, my mum used to wash them and put them back in the drawer, ready for the next time. But they explained, and it was very hard work for them because I'm not a small guy, and when I was carrying a lot of fluid, my leg was very heavy, and I couldn't lift them to help them. And, you know, they'd have to get in all sorts of positions, you know, to work on my legs, and it was very hard work. And having agoraphobia, well, I didn't want to go out. They didn't put pressure on me. I'd discuss something with them, and if they wasn't sure, if there was somebody they could call, they would pick their phone up and they would call them there and then. During the day their workload increases, but they never complained at me. If I was having a slow day, there was no rush in me, you know, and if I felt I didn't want to be worked on at that time, they would come back. You know, there was nothing was too much trouble. We made friends with them all. You know, they were just so professional. I'm proud to have the National Health Service with them in it. I've got a particular sore in a delicate place that, you know, I was petrified because they always come and they always ask, have you got any sores? And being a typical male, I suppose, I'd say no because I don't want to show my bits. And the very next time Lynn came, she said, if you like, I'll have a quick look and, you know, we recommend what cream you need. And that's what happened. I was quite happy to drop my trousers for Lynn. And the way she handled that was marvellous. You know, I felt really at ease. And a problem that would have gone on and on and on if I'd have ignored it was cleared up in a matter of days. So I was making myself suffer unnecessarily. Have a bit of trust in them. Their commitment to getting me better was their number one priority, and they was prepared to do anything to do that. Lynn, when she, you know, carried the scales up to get me weighed so as I could get a wheelchair, so as I could get out and fight my agoraphobia. And also to Andrea, who I didn't expect to see in the snow, but she left her car and she walked here to treat me. And if that's not dedication and determination, I don't know what is. You know, and I can't praise them enough.
She was a lady in her 90s, and she had just been discharged from King's College Hospital in London, where she had gone for insertion of a stent for aortic stenosis. And unfortunately they were unable to do the procedure, and so really she was discharged home in end-stage heart failure, and the prognosis was obviously quite poor. And she was well aware of that, and she arrived home to her home where she'd lived for a long, long time. She's got 3 very supportive daughters, and also she wanted to die at home. That was her express wish. She had full mental capacity, and she was a very strong-willed lady who knew exactly what she wanted. She'd been sleeping in the chair for a long time before her admission, and she just liked to be in her lounge in the chair with her cats. So once she transferred back to her normal armchair, we could actually get her an airwaves cushion. So with some persuasion, she said she'd give it a try, and we did actually get an airwaves cushion in place. We also did a risk assessment because obviously this lady was hugely at risk of developing a pressure sore. So she then went into her ordinary chair with the airwaves cushion, and that's how things went on, really. Well, every couple of days we tried to persuade her that maybe she'd like a profiling bed. And then when she did start to really decline a little bit and became a lot weaker, I did say to her, well, I really know you don't want to go to hospital, but what happens if you've got no strength to stand at all and you are incontinent and you can't get to the toilet? I don't want us to get to a situation where you get whisked off to the hospital in an emergency situation. And I said we could get a bed here and just have it here so that should you need it in the future, it's here for you. And after a day or two, she did agree to actually let us. And that was a huge event for her because it meant moving her piano out of the lounge and having this bed that she really didn't want in the lounge. But we ordered a profiling bed, an Airwaves mattress and glide sheets as well, so that if she did decline, we had moving and handling equipment available. I think also we were able to get the bed in because in the earlier part of the weeks we'd been able to build trust really, and I think she had faith in us and she knew that what we were saying was, and also she had insight as well, she knew exactly what the outcome was going to be, and I think she was so desperate not to go to hospital that she could see the logic of having a bed in situ just in case she needed it. And all she talked about quite often was that this grandson was coming from Spain and she really wanted to see him. And the grandson did arrive from Spain, and that night her legs did give way and she obviously needed to be put to bed, and he actually lifted her up and put her in the bed. And the next day she was still awake and quite compos mentis, but she was finding it a real struggle to get to the toilet. She couldn't get in and out of the bed anymore, and that was really distressing for her, and she actually asked us to put a catheter in for her. So we actually inserted a catheter, and less than 48 hours later she did die very peacefully in the bed with all her family around her and the cats, and she was where she wanted to be, and also surprisingly she had no pressure sores at all. And we'd involved a lot of other services, and also it been good teamwork really, because everyone had delivered good care and all within what she wanted. I think that we put everything that we could in place to make sure that she didn't deteriorate, and I think it was about educating the carers, talking to the family, showing the importance of skincare to them. I actually think that we got it right, and that was a good feeling, and it was really lovely that lady at 92 was able to die in her family home with her family around her, and also that she'd only had to go into that bed for such a short period of time. So that will always stay with me because it's good. But yeah, I've had, I think every experience you have where there's a good outcome, for me, does make you feel like it's a worthwhile job. And but you don't always get it right, but you can always strive to make sure you get it right the next time.